El Internet es incompatible con el totalitarismo. El totalitarismo necesita tener un control de la información. Quien controla la información controla la mente de las personas.
Un amigo, 353 personas jugando.
This is Yunta. He's playing World of Warcraft with a few hundred others in Havana, but he's not connected to the internet. Instead, Yunta is using what's called StreetNet. It's one of the many bootlegged inventions Cubans have come up with to bypass their government's resistance to internet access.
5% of the 11 million people in Cuba actually have access to the internet.
A few years ago, some young tech-savvy gamers in Havana started connecting their computers through long Ethernet cables, running them from rooftop to rooftop across the city. And soon they started using wireless routers to expand even further. They created a giant mesh network, which has no central server. Instead, each participant holds a piece of the network on their local computer, creating nodes that connect the city to one giant network. Today, there are over 10,000 users connected to StreetNet throughout Havana. Using StreetNet is strangely similar to searching the real web. There are blogs, forums, dating sites, and social media that looks like Facebook. You have to remind yourself that you're actually looking at an illegal makeshift network invented by Cuban gamers. In 1959, Fidel Castro led a socialist revolution that flipped Cuban society upside down.
La lucha armada es el único camino para la liberación.
Castro established a regime that limited all unapproved expression, punishing anyone who spoke out against the government. Decades later, the world started adopting the internet.
Hey, why should I be on the internet? Why?
But Cuba is the most censored country in the Western Hemisphere, and the advent of the internet in all of its uncontrollable and decentralized glory posed a unique challenge for a regime that really wants to keep control over information.
The United States of America is changing its relationship with the people of Cuba.
The United States will restore full diplomatic relations with Cuba.
I believe that we can do more to support the Cuban people.
To the thawing of diplomatic relations with Cuba.
And to improve Cuba's internet.
Includes U.S. equipment to improve Cuba's internet. Connect Cuba to the internet.
A surge in internet usage.
One of the companies watching closely, Google.
Google has gone to Cuba in a push for a free and open internet.
It hasn't been easy for Google.
There's no internet, not when you land at the airport, but we are right now at one of these new Wi-Fi hotspots that the government has set up just in the last few weeks.
Now to get on the internet, you have to buy a card like this, featuring a relaxed-looking woman in spandex meditating. It costs $2. And with it, you can go to one of the 35 Wi-Fi hotspots in the country and enter a code to get 1 hour of unadulterated access to the uncensored internet. The government often runs out of these access cards, so most people have to buy them off a black market dealer for $3 or $4. Since these hotspots opened a couple months ago, people have been flocking to the internet, mainly to connect with family members.
No hay internet, hay que haber internet para todo el mundo, porque no hay una plataforma, un soporte técnico.
Many Cubans buy into the official state line that internet deficiency is caused by a combination of the embargo from the United States and a lack of telecoms infrastructure. A quick look into this and you start to realize that the infrastructure argument is completely bogus. In January 2013, a submarine fiber optic cable running from Venezuela went live on the island. The cable is called Alba 1, and it was supposed to support a more widespread and faster internet on the island. Experts say that with this cable, connecting the island should be easy.
When the network goes online this summer, Cuba's bandwidth will increase by 3,000. The question is, will Cubans then have access to the web without restrictions and without excuses?
Llegó el cable de fibra óptica, ha habido un silencio absoluto con respecto al desarrollo y al uso de ese cable. De hecho, tengo un amigo que es periodista y prohibieron en el periódico hablar del asunto. El Internet es incompatible con el totalitarismo.
Even Google's gone over the past year and a half. They've made several trips to Cuba. They offered, we'll help you create that infrastructure. And I believe the Cuban government politely declined that.
This is not an infrastructure issue. This leaked video from a government training session shows a presenter talking about the threat of new technologies.
No estamos fajados con las nuevas tecnologías. Es sencillamente conocerlas, usarlas en favor de lo que nuestros intereses, pero saber qué quiere hacer el enemigo con lo que está poniendo en el país.
Cuba now employs a cyber militia that has started harassing and discrediting dissident bloggers on the island. But that doesn't seem to stop them. There are now 1,600 blogs run by Cubans. Yoani Sanchez is among the most visible of these underground bloggers.
So the idea is that, Yoani or one of her journalists will write an article and she'll get, access to one of these Wi-Fi points or the internet somewhere, and she'll email the article to her colleagues in Spain or wherever, and they'll publish it and download all that information onto a PDF and then send it back into the island. Maybe it's a visitor that's coming with a flash drive. Yoani considers this the boomerang effect. And then that gets put onto flash drives and CDs and DVDs and literally gets passed hand to hand.
El día que Cuba sea un país donde la información no esté censurada y la opinión no sea un peligro, algún día le levantaremos un monumento a las memorias flash. Porque estos objetos nos han dado libertad.